I made a mistake. We are actually on episode number 20, so let's go. Enjoy. What's going on, gamers? How are you brothers and sisters doing? I want to welcome you guys to Listener Feedback, episode number 19. And on this week's episode, it will be starring Crimson Phoenix, who has written in again. I really appreciate it, brother. Very happy to have you here. We have One Subset Tekken, who has also written in yet again. And we have, making his return, Mr. Glovebox Gaming has written in as well. Brothers, I truly appreciate these emails. Thank you guys so much because, like I say every time, without y'all writing in, the show does not exist. So, truly and humbly, thank you guys for writing in again. But, the listeners listening right now, if you would like to be a part of the upcoming listener feedback, which will be recorded next Wednesday, you can do it two different ways. Either write in at the and the email is the analogcirclepodcast@gmail.com, or you can, I'm about to say email the show, you can call you can call the show at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard. Man, I'm gonna tell y'all, it's really good to hear from y'all brothers, man, because sometimes you're kind of not feeling, actually putting up the content or putting it out, and having you guys write in and the kind words and things of that nature, it really helps when you're feeling, I guess, a little uninspired to record and get in there and, spit some bars or whatever, you know what I mean, like about the game and news and stuff. So I just, I think I'm in one of those moods this week, so pardon me if the energy level might be down a little bit this week, because if I'm not feeling it, you guys know I can't fake it, man. I can't fake it, brothers. So, it means a lot that you guys wrote in this week, and I appreciate it, man. So, without further ado, though, we're gonna go and get it started because Crimson Phoenix, he actually wrote in first this week. So let's get to his email. Now, the title of his email is "To Answer Your Question." Oh, and just to let you guys know, we will be covering a couple of news stories. They're very small. You know how we do, man. I know that the Bethesda deal, oh my gosh, that doggone Bethesda deal. I'm not gonna talk about that on this episode because the episode will be forever. And I got to get ready to go to work. I'm going up to Buffalo, New York. So I'm not going to have a chance to talk about that, but oh man, don't worry. Sunday, we will definitely be talking about that because I got questions. I got a lot of questions, Phil Spencer. But let me get to your email, Crimson Phoenix. That guy, man. Oh my goodness, Phil mother-loving Spencer. Anyway, all right, Crimson Phoenix, here we go, brother. He says the first game that is X/S enhanced I played was Immortals Phoenix. Oh, okay. This is the email where I was asking you to write in and let me know what you had played on your Series X because you just got it last week, my man. All right. He says he played, Immortal Phoenix Rising. Great game, but in my opinion, doesn't wow me on the graphics. I agree. I saw the game and I've been hearing people going crazy over it, saying it's great, it's this, it's that. And I'm with you, Crimson. I don't see the graphical pull towards the game for myself. It looks average. At best, almost like a Kid Icarus ripoff to a certain degree, but I can't really speak on the game because I don't have it. But let me continue with your email, brother. He says second was, and so you know I'm a Clancy fan, The Division 2 and is also X/S enhanced. And I immediately noticed the 60 frame bump with all the graphics still enabled and load times. I was just in game in seconds, not a couple of minutes. That is dope. I'm half tempted to start a new character and re-experience the game all over, even though I've played that one 600 plus out. Golly! 600 plus hours you've been playing this game, Crimson? My gosh, brother. Man, you got to have a platinum. I mean, I know on Xbox it's achievements, but brother, you got to have all 1,000 points worth of achievements. 600 hours. Wow. Let me finish before I jump over. That is dope. Golly, I don't think I have ever had that kind of commitment to a game. That is mind-blowing to me. Maybe you were joking. I don't know, Crimson Phoenix. Do you mean literally you put 600 hours into this game? God, dog, brother, man, you got to let me know if you mean literally or just figuratively that you put 600 hours in. But yeah, it is great to hear that you did see you noticed the frame rate of 60 frames per second, and the faster load times. That's the one thing that I'm absolutely looking forward to as soon as I can get a PS5 and a Series X, are those faster load times. And once again, the enhancements that you were talking about as well. And we got a bit of a story on the enhancements a little later on. But let me continue with your email, brother. He says, third, I played a 360 back compact game, Rainbow Six Vegas 2, just to see how an older game might take advantage. And this one supports Auto HDR. Wow. The verdict is yes. Auto HDR is a fresh coat of much needed paint for it to not look so dated. That's so nice, man. He says, loving this console. I was like a kid in a candy store trying to decide what to play as I own nearly 500 games and have Game Pass. Whoop, whoop. He says, and I remembered, and I redeemed, this brother, I'm telling you, got to be fast on the trigger. This brother actually got the $25 gift card for the Microsoft Store, and he says, hope the podcast continues to grow and you keep doing you. Brother Crimson Phoenix, thank you for the email, man. Thank you for letting me know that you redeemed the code. Crimson Phoenix is always let me know when he's redeemed the code. So shout out to you for actually winning the $25, man. Hopefully it helps with some of your purchases or one of your purchases that you'll be using the card towards, man. And it's great to hear that you're very happy with your purchase of the Xbox Series X, and that these enhancements, you can see them, you can feel them, and it's making the gaming experience that much better. I can only imagine load times on some of these older games has to make the experience just that much better. I mean, then you throw on top of that the 60 frames per second, the Auto HDR on a 360 game, Vegas 2. That's really cool, man. Rainbow Six Vegas 2. That's awesome, man. I'm just glad to hear that the console has lived up to your expectations, possibly exceeding your expectations. I don't know. You'll have to let me know your opinion on that. And this brother said he has nearly 500 games. Hey, man, listen, brother. Hey, man. I don't have anywhere near 500 games. I knew. Well, wait. Now, if you're talking about between last generation and this generation, nah, brother, I still don't have 500 nearly. I probably am in the range of, I don't know, man, maybe 200, maybe somewhere around there, but definitely not 500. That's a crazy collection, man. That's amazing. Crimson Phoenix, I'm so glad once again you were able to redeem the card. I'm glad you wrote in. It's always fantastic reading your emails. And this gets me excited, man. It does. It gets me excited to get my hands on a Series X eventually. I'm gonna get one eventually. And, yeah, man, just thank you again for writing in, Crimson Phoenix. It's always great to hear from you, brother. And please, man, please continue to write in with your thoughts and your opinions, man. I just thank you again, brother. Thank you. But with that being said, though, let's get into the first smaller story this week. So, if you were a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, whether it was, I don't know, the arcade version of the game, which was so amazing back in the day, or the Super Nintendo's Turtles in Time. That was my joy too, man. I remember going to Blockbuster Video, man. Golly. And, I would go with my grandmother there, because on Fridays I told y'all, man, it was either Earl's Video, that was back in the 80s, and then it got to be Blockbuster Video by the 90s. So my grandmother, I would always go with her for the most part to Blockbuster, and she would always let me rent, Super Nintendo games, and man, that Turtles in Time, golly, it was such an amazing game. I had so much fun with that game. So I'm a big fan of the Ninja Turtles, and I was so upset when they took them off of Xbox Live Arcade. I don't know what the world happened. Maybe it was a licensing issue or something like that. But back to the story at hand. It was announced today that Shredder's Revenge will be releasing on console and PC and is being developed by Tribute Games, where some of the team worked on Scott Pilgrim versus the World. So that's pretty good to hear. And it's also being published by Emu, who also published Streets of Rage 4. And we know how great that game was. Now, keep in mind, I don't have Streets of Rage 4. I only read the reviews, only heard a couple of people that I follow talking about it, and they spoke highly of it. So those two games being side scrollers, coming from these two different camps, I think that it's a safe bet that this game is probably going to be in good hands. Now, the one other thing, now this is more of a question mark than an answer. They did say it's going to be 4-player co-op, but they didn't say whether or not it would be local or online, or if you would have the option to do both. So we'll have to see what happens with that in the future. They didn't give a release date, didn't give a release time like spring or summer or winter or fall. So we'll have to just see what happens. But if you do want to see what the game looks like, just type in Shredder's Revenge into YouTube and it'll bring up the video for you to see it. It looks just like a game from back during that arcade era of Ninja Turtles, the side scroller, man, the beat 'em up. It really took me on a bit of a nostalgia trip, because thinking about it, man, this episode is going to be long by mistake, man. But thinking about it, on the Super Nintendo version, Turtles in Time, one of the dopest things I remember seeing from that game was when you would pick up the enemy and you would like smash them into the front of the screen and it would like splat and they just kind of slowly fall down the front of the screen. Oh man, it was so cool. It was so cool, man. So just the nostalgia of this really has me excited, man, and I can't wait to see what happens with it. So yeah, that's the first news story. But let's go ahead and get into Mr. One Subset Tekken. Shout out to you, brother, for writing in this week. And the title of his email is Higher Standard Indeed. What? Oh, I bet this brother, well, let's see. I think you might be talking about Nintendo. I don't want to jump the gun. He says, hello, Kiaun. Hope things are well. Hey, brother, everything is okay, man. Everything is copacetic. He says, I want to respond to the question, should we hold Nintendo? I thought you were talking about Nintendo, brother. I wasn't 100% sure, but I thought so. He says, should we hold Nintendo to a higher standard? Simply, yes. Don't get me wrong. Nintendo has single-handedly, on top of Mario's back, carried the gaming industry after the crash in the 80s. Very true. He says, kudos to them. They did a wonderful job, but by the time that Nintendo Wii came out and was successful, that debt was paid. I just think we have just been giving Nintendo a pass for a lot of the things that we raise holy heck about when it comes to Xbox and PlayStation. I kind of had to, substitute your word there, one subset. Let me see, PlayStation. Why I have no idea. It is just one of those mysteries that continues to happen over and over again. If they repackage a game and add the label of remaster on with new cover art on it, but don't do any work, and people still buy it and then work, and I'm butchering your email, brother. I feel like I should just start it back over. You know what? I'm gonna give you the respect that you deserve here, one subset. I'm gonna start this over again because, once again, reading is fundamental, brother. So here we go. He says, hello, Kiaun. Hope things are well. I wanted to respond to the question, should we hold Nintendo to a higher standard? Simply yes. Don't get me wrong, Nintendo has single-handedly, on top of Mario's back, carried the gaming industry after the crash in the 80s. Kudos to them. They did a wonderful job. But by the time that the Nintendo Wii came out and was successful, that debt was paid. I just think we have just been giving Nintendo a pass for a lot of the things that we raise holy heck about when it comes to Xbox and PlayStation. Why? I have no idea. It is just one of those mysteries that continues to happen over and over again. If they repackage a game and add the label of remaster on with new cover art on it, but don't do any work and people still buy it, then whose fault is that? This is what we as consumers of this hobby we love need to do, is hold their feet to the fire. I agree. He says we deserve better. As always, wash your hands, face, and butt. And please wear a mask. Peace. I wholeheartedly agree. That's what I've been trying to figure out, one subset. Here it is. Nintendo does some of the most, I don't want to speak too out of term here, but some of the decisions they make are crazy. These doggone codes that you got to type in social security numbers and whatnot, jumping around in code and just to meet up with your friends online instead of just having a system where your friend is online, you click the button, you can join, and you ain't got to worry about going all of these hoops and loops to get to your friends. Then having the chat, the online chat, having you use your phone. Come on, we would have killed Microsoft and Sony for the same thing. Like one subset Tekken said, we raise our eyebrows at some of the things. If they were to do some of these things that Nintendo does, we would be like, nah, how the world are you going to sell me a game that you call a remaster and you did minimal work on the remaster? I'm not giving you full price for this. Are you crazy? But yet Nintendo, it's Mario. You know what? Nintendo does what they do. I'll pick it up. It's fine. And yes, you're right again, one subset. They definitely brought gaming back from the brink of destruction when it came to that crash, the gaming crash in the 80s when E.T., the cartridge, and I had that for Christmas, by the way, never could understand the game. Never. 7 or 8 year old me was lost. I'm like, what the world am I supposed to be doing? This agent is over here. I don't know where I'm going. I'm falling in a pit. I can't get out of it. Yeah. So when what is it called? The quality control was just in the dumpster. But Nintendo, they brought us back with Rob the Robot, with the Zapper, with Super Mario, like you said, putting the industry on Mario's back and bringing us back from the brink of gaming going away. And that is awesome. I always give Nintendo their credit for that. They will always be remembered if nothing else outside of Mario and Donkey Kong and Samus and the countless classic games that they have. They will be remembered as the company that single-handedly brought gaming back from the edge. And I appreciate that. But Nintendo, they have been behind the what do they call it, man? Listen, man, they've been behind the curve for a long time. They stopped competing after the GameCube. The GameCube, and I gotta shout out my dude, Jeremy Parrish. Shout out to that brother for schooling me on the GameCube, saying that it was more powerful than the PlayStation 2. I didn't know that. I had no idea. I'm looking at them. Just the moves, even with the GameCube, the mini disc. Hell, like, nah, we just can't give you a regular CD-ROM. We gotta make these little mini bite-sized discs. It's just the decisions that Nintendo has made over the years. It is frustrating. And once again, I didn't start liking Nintendo until the Switch. Me and Nintendo were not getting along. I ain't give a doggone about the Wii. I didn't give a darn about the Wii U. I didn't think the N64 was that great of a machine. I thought the Nintendo 64 was a waste. The only thing, listen, maybe not a waste. I might have gotten my feelings a little too much to say that. That's a little crazy. But what I'm saying is, the only thing that the N64 did, you remember the N64 for two things, maybe three. Mario 64, the analog stick, and GoldenEye. Those are the three main things that you remember. Maybe Killer Instinct, you can throw that in there. Maybe Conquer Bad Fur Day or Perfect. No. Listen, man, look, all right. Now, I'm be honest with you right here, Crimson Phoenix. I have lost my train of thought, brother. I went on a tangent and I've lost myself. But yeah, that's the point of this. We deserve better. Nintendo, the Switch, good grief. I'm a big fan. Man, I'm a big fan of the Switch. And if it's true that the Super Nintendo Switch is the next thing up, I will probably buy that as well. But Nintendo, you gotta do better. Come on, man. You have to. My thing is, I want everybody to compete. It's not about one beating the other for me. It's really about all of these guys being competitive. And right now, the least competitive out of all three, I don't think anybody would disagree, is Nintendo, even though they're doing wonderful. There's certain things that Nintendo, they need to tighten up on. For one, these remasters. They just did the Super Mario 3D bundle. Now, granted, I do have the game. God dog it, I know it was a gift. It was a gift. You know, I didn't buy it, but it was a gift, and I appreciated that gift. I wanted it. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted it. But here it is. We know that they did minimal work on that. And now Nintendo is about to come out with Skyward Sword. Who the heck asked for Skyward Sword? The least popular Zelda that I know of. And yet they're going to bring that out and then it looks the same. Anyway, you know what? One subset I have raved and went on a tangent a little too long, brother, but I wholeheartedly agree with you. We need better. We do. And I'm glad we're both on the same page with that, because golly, man, just Nintendo. Yeah, just do better. Give us better. We, as the consumer, like one subset Tekken said, we need to hold Nintendo's feet to the fire and burn those mother lovers if you have to get them to do better. Because right now they're giving minimal when it comes to certain aspects of their business. Not saying everything Nintendo is doing is cutting corners and nickel and dime, and that would be unfair to say that. But some of their practices definitely need to change. One subset Tekken. Thank you for this email, brother. I do apologize. I went a little long on that one, brother, but man, you hit a chord with me, brother. Anytime. That's the thing I love about hearing from you. Love about this is hearing from you guys. Here it was, brothers. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't feeling really recording today. I'm up here, man. I was contemplating on whether or not I was going to record. I'm like, man, oh man, if y'all didn't write in, once again, I can't express it enough. It wouldn't have been a show. It truly would not have been a show. I wouldn't have been covering any small gaming topics or anything like that. But when you guys write in, man, it is a jolt. It's a bit of a boost, man, to get me, over that hump. And I appreciate that. Just being honest with y'all. I wasn't really feeling it, but just reading you guys' emails, it really helps to get you over those days you just don't want to get on the microphone. So, one subset Tekken. Again, brother, thank you for the email. Again, Crimson Phoenix, thank you as well for your email, brother. I mean, it's really, really appreciated, man. Truly. Now, I'm going to move on into the second story. Now, this second story actually has to do with some enhancements. So get this, according to a GameSpot article, it's being suggested that Batman Arkham Knight could be getting upgrades and enhancements based on an image from the latest Xbox Wire post, which features a logo for Xbox Game Pass and another logo indicating it has been enhanced for Series X and S. So, first off, that game right there, to this day, even after playing Spider-Man, now I haven't played Miles Morales, granted, because I'm not going to play that on the PS4. I have to have a PS5 to play that game the way that it's supposed to be played. But playing the original Spider-Man on PlayStation 4 and comparing that to Batman Arkham Knight, to me, Batman is still the absolute. Batman Arkham Knight is the greatest superhero game I have played, man. I know Spider-Man has the movement and swinging through the city, and some of the powers that you get when you upgrade them is really cool. But Batman Arkham Knight, that story, man, was just fire. It was volcanic fire. Granted, I've said like a trillion times on the podcast that the Batmobile sections of the game, that was bad, man. It was some of those levels where you're driving around and I'm like, oh my goodness, having to use the grapple hook to go up the side of buildings and stuff like that. They overdid it with the Batmobile, pardon me. But that game still, the gameplay, the graphics, and the story, the voice acting, that is to me, to this day, the best superhero game I've ever played. So imagine them giving this game enhancements from taking it from 900p to 4K resolution. And from 30 frames per second, which is what it was locked to 60 frames per second. Imagine how that game would pop on the Xbox Series X if these enhancements really do happen. Because the game still holds up to this day. And it's 6 years old, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Arkham Knight is 6 years old at this point. And it's still an amazing looking game. And I would love to see this happen. Crimson Phoenix, like you were talking about, man, being able to see the difference from the 30 to the 60 frames per second, and the division and the faster loading times. Man, I can only imagine what it would be like seeing this game actually get these possible enhancements if that leaked. Well, it ain't even a leaked image. It was just a regular image that showed that it was supposed to be Series X and S enhanced. So we'll have to see if this is really true and if it does happen. And I'm sure if it does, we know who's going to be first up to report on it. You already know Digital Foundry ain't going to miss a beat when it comes to it. So we'll have to wait and see. But up next, this gonna take us out into the sunset here, is Mr. Glove Box Gaming. Shout out to you, brother. It's great to hear from you, man. You've been writing it a lot more. And it's man, I'm telling y'all, man, let me just have a moment with y'all again. Just for one second. Man, it really, and I'm sure I can't be the only person that feels like this, that, do podcasts. It just feels great to hear from you guys, man. It lets you know that, people, they rock with you, man. And I don't care what anybody says. They can try to put on a tough face and say, I don't care what people think. I don't care if nobody is listening and all of that stuff. Man, I'm going to tell you, as a person that gets on the microphone and records and does things, Glove Box, he does the same thing. Man, you need that feedback, man. You need it. You really do. You need, you kind of thrive off of it, knowing that people, they appreciate what you do. And like I said, people can say they don't care what people think and all of that stuff. I'll tell you, I look forward to it. I really look forward to hearing from you guys, man, because I know it's fuel for me. It helps me to want to continue to keep on recording and, looking up all of these stories and stuff like that and talking about the gaming culture because, having you guys just tune in, it really means a lot, man. And then interacting with me, leaving your thoughts and stuff. It means a lot, man. So anyway, we've had our moment. We've had the moment. So let's go ahead and let's get into, Mr. Glovebox Gaming's email. Now, the title of his email is, I'm curious. He says, man, that's a heck of a title, brother. He says, yo, Kiaun, what's good, my brother? Man, I'm hanging, brother. I'm hanging in there. Getting ready to get my mind together to get up here to Buffalo, good brother. He says, listen, I have a quick question for you. Like you, I get a lot of emails and comments, mostly from my YouTube channel. I can't say all of the comments are good. Are good, but I take the constructive criticism and learn from it. The hate and racist comments I erase because those folks can just kick rocks as far as I'm concerned. Golly, hold on, brother, for real? Man, listen, man, I'm not saying this because, Glovebox, I look at your stuff and I really personally think you're a cool dude. I don't even know why those kind of comments would even exist. You're not even that kind of channel. I don't get that. God, dog. He says, kick rocks as far as I'm concerned, LOL. But one guy came at me and asked, quote, when are you going to grow up? End of quote. Really? He said, I fell out laughing. I was like, dude, I'm already 50 years old. How much growing do I need to do? He says, he can kick rocks too. Man, Glovebox said, I ain't got no time for this, man. God dog. And how much older you need me to get, man? Shucks. Let me continue with your email. Yeah, man, you gotta tell them they can kick rocks with flip-flops, brother. Oh, man. Let me see. He says, God. All right, let me get on track here, brother. Jeez, me, Christmas. He says, I was like, dude, I'm already 50 years old. How much growing do I need to do? He says, so my question is, do you think there will ever be a time where you stop gaming? For me, the answer is heck no. I'll be in the old folks' home with a PlayStation 11 or something. He says, anyway, that's all I got, my brother. Keep up the outstanding work with the podcast, and I'll holler at you next week. I appreciate that, man. Listen, brother, once again, go over to Glovebox's YouTube channel, subscribe to the brother. He's a really good brother, which is why I don't understand how you would get racist comments and things like that. But we know how the game goes, man. Some people are just gonna be hateful, even if you're not even giving them a reason to, man. It's just unfortunately the life that we live, man. We live in, and the society that we live in as well, brother. But listen, man, I absolutely agree with you, brother. It is never a time that I could ever see myself not being a gamer. Let me tell you something, Glovebox. I don't know if you knew this, brother, but this was about 2 years ago at this point. I had this thing called radial nerve palsy in my right hand, and that's my left hand, not my right hand, my left hand. And basically my hand, my wrist, I lost all function of it. It was numb. I couldn't move my fingers, couldn't move my hand. I was actually out of work for a couple of months because I couldn't work. I couldn't drive. I need both my hands. I need one hand to be on the steering wheel, one hand to shift the gears. So, the first thing, now this is crazy, man. The first thing I thought about, Glovebox, was when it happened initially, I said, man, I am never going to be able to play games again. First thing I thought of, I wasn't thinking about work. I wasn't thinking about everyday life. How am I going to be able to function in just society as just normal? Man, first thing I thought of is, how am I going to hold a controller? I can't even feel my hand right now. My hand, it don't move. I can't move my fingers, my wrists. I can't lift my hand up. So, brother, I just say that to say that when gaming was threatened to be taken away from me, man, I'm going to tell you, Glovebox, brother, I was about one step away from tears, brother. One step away, man. Because I was saying, man, here it is. I thought that if I lost, function of, I don't know, as you get older, you can't lift as much. You can't move around as nimble as you used to be able to. Different functions start to slowly fade away. But in my mind, I always believe that at least if all of that happens, I still will have gaming to fall back on. I'll be just like you, Glovebox. I could see myself an old man, brother, 70, 80 years old, brother, still wanting to game. And I know my hand and eye coordination probably ain't going to be that great, but I would still be playing. And just the thought of it being taken away, man, it really made me appreciate so much more, Glovebox, just this thing that we have, man, this gaming culture, gaming, it really made me appreciate it so much more, because it took a solid 3 months, maybe 2.5, to really get, my hand back to normal and be able to function, because I couldn't pick up anything, Glovebox. It was really, I couldn't use it. Couldn't use my hand at all. So, just the fact that I was able to recover and be able to play on, the Xbox One and the PS4, brother, it was a blessing, man. It really, really was. And it really just, once again, let me know how important gaming is to me and how much I appreciate it. And I will say this too, Glovebox, that it really, looking at it from that perspective, it made me appreciate also what Microsoft was able to do with the adaptive controller. Because we just don't know what can happen in the future. You know, this thing that we love, man, so much, this thing that, you know, has been in most of our lives for as long as we can remember, you know, it being taken away, and Microsoft actually providing something that can help you still be able to, you know, still play the games. It really brought a different perspective to that controller. And I really appreciated what Phil Spencer did, him and the team over at Xbox, you know, spearheading that. And it made me understand a little bit more, well, a lot more, that there are plenty of people out there too that would want to play games, but because of a situation that could have happened is hindering them from doing that. So yeah, shout out to Xbox. I give them a hard time. It's because I'm such a fan of the brand, man. I just want them to be great again. And that's why, you know, I'm so hard on them. But listen, Glovebox, you took me to a whole other place with that doggone email, man. I appreciated it. Brother, it's so great to hear from you. Like I said, man, it's unfortunate, though, that, you know, people are leaving these horrible comments, things that are just being hurtful. And, you know, just sometimes people bring up stuff that isn't even part of what you're even talking about. So, you know, just definitely shake that off, man. It's great that you erase those negative comments. Don't pay them any attention, and you pay attention to the comments that are in line with what you're talking about, the criticisms that can make you, you know, a better content creator, and you know, make you you know, be able to take notes on certain things that you might be falling short on. So that's great that you even consider that, because some people are so guarded and like, I don't want to hear anything anybody has to say. What I'm doing is great, you know. So it's great that you take the criticism and you take the good and the bad, and you apply it, you know, to certain areas and things that pertain to what you're doing. So yeah, Glovebox, man, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate the content that you create. And yeah, man, thank you for writing in, man, yet again for another week and taking me back to a place about 2 years ago. Matter of fact, it's so crazy, man, because 2 years ago in March, actually, was when my hand pretty much around this time started, I was starting to get back most of the function of my hand and able to hold the sticks again. And brother, now I'm gonna tell you something, Glovebox. When I actually was able to hold the controller in my hand without like my fingers like not being able to move them or anything like that, brother, now that kind of made me shed a tear, brother. I was like, oh my goodness. Gave it back. I got it back. This is so amazing, you know. So yeah, man, 2 years this month, that happened. And, yeah, man, golly. And today is Mario Day as well. I think they said Mario 10 today or something. So some games are on sale. But, anyway, we're about to wrap it up. Let me see. I got one more story here that I want to cover. And thank you again, Glovebox, for writing in, brother. It's really, really appreciated. But, the last story that I wanted to tell you guys about is, according to an insider and reporter, his name is Jeff Grubb. Yeah, we've heard of him. Jeff Grubb he's pretty accurate with a lot of things. But he was asked by a listener, on his Games Beat podcast, did he know what EA Motive had in the pipeline? And he admitted that he does, but he couldn't say. But he did give a clue by saying it is, and quote, established IP, end of quote. So it looks like EA Motive, I believe those are the guys that were behind the VR game. What was it? Rogue Squadron? The one that came out last year sometime. It was VR compatible. And I think they did something else. I think Battlefront 2. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they have a pretty good track record. So we know that there are several IPs that we would love for EA to just revisit. For me, before the announcement was made at the Video Game Awards, I was hoping to get a Dead Space 4 or Dead Space reimagining of the franchise until we found out that one of the original developers on Dead Space was making his own game, which is pretty much a successor to Death Stranding, Dead Space, that him and his team are working on. So we'll see, man. It'll be interesting to see what IP EA lets EA Motive work on that is an older IP. So, man, I've been tongue-tied this whole episode, messing up on What's Up, Said Tekken's email, going all over the place, man. Y'all had to pardon me, brothers. God, dog. I do apologize. But, man, that's going to do it for this week's listener feedback. Once again, thank you to Crimson Phoenix. Thank you, One Subset Tekken. And thank you, Glovebox Gaming, for you three brothers writing in. It actually brightened my day. It really, really did. And I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate the listeners, you guys tuning in every week and showing support, man. It means a lot, man. Thank y'all. Thank y'all very, very much. I have been long-winded. I'm going to tell y'all, I thought this episode was going to be a half an hour long. I thought maybe 20, 25 minutes. Half an hour on the long side, but we have 45 minutes. God, dog. So I'm going to wrap it up here. But Sunday, we'll be back at it. I have nothing written down for Sunday. I'm going to be honest. I got nothing. Just wasn't feeling motivated this week, but after you guys wrote in, you guys writing in after reading you guys' emails, man, I'm going to have to cook up something. I'm going to cook something up, man. So we will definitely be back at it Sunday for sure. And you definitely know that Bethesda, we are going to talk about that. Some of the biggest gaming news, if not, I think that's safe to say that's the biggest gaming news of the week for sure. So we will be talking about that. We'll be talking about what Phil Spencer said as far as certain... Anyway, I'm out of here until Sunday. And once again, though, you, the listener, listening, if you want to be a part of the next episode of Listener Feedback, call in at 443-216-9934. Let your voice be heard. Or you can email the show. And the email address is theanalogcirclepodcast@gmail.com. I was your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and thank you guys again for being here. It's really, really appreciated. And I will see you guys on Sunday.